Hello and welcome to Casting Views, the podcast that usually takes a topic each week and, as the name suggests, casts views. The reason I say usually this week is because, as the name of the episode suggests, this is a slightly different episode to normal, slightly shorter episode too, where I just want to take the opportunity to celebrate 100 episodes and it being my 2-year anniversary. The first episode dropped on the 19th September 2021. And if you're looking at your pod player and saying, well, hold on, there's more than 100 episodes here at the moment. Well, you're right. But a couple of episodes were when I wasn't able to record a new episode of my own. So I gratefully received the audio from me guesting on another podcast and played that. And a couple of episodes recently under the Casting Reflections on Black Mirror, I'm classing that as a bonus series. So not the official mainline pod. So yeah, this is technically and officially episode 100. So 2 years, 100 episodes. So what an opportunity to kind of reflect a little bit on what's happened. And also something I probably haven't done enough. I should have done a bit more. It's to also give some thanks and shout outs to some pods as we go along. So firstly, before all that, had to look back and thought, okay, let's see what else has happened on this day, or I should say the 19th September in history. So 1990, the film Goodfellas was released in the United States. 1988, Bon Jovi released New Jersey. In 1971, athlete Beth Bonner became the first woman to win the New York City Marathon with a time of 2 hours 55:22. In 1952, the first television show about Superman, called The Adventures of Superman, aired in the US. And in 1949, Twiggy, the English model, was born. And of course, 2021, Casting Views was born. So 100 episodes. And I've got a message from one of my friends here, Kay from the Fuck My Work Life podcast. And you're going to hear some messages throughout. I'm going to intersperse them. It's been great to receive those. But Kay sent a message saying, happy 100th episode. Casting Views has become my Sunday morning ritual. I start my day listening while doing chores, which makes the chores so much more bearable. The topics and conversations are always so interesting. Dan, your kindness and compassion shines through no matter what the subject. Jay and I are so glad to have connected with you through the pod world and are honoured to be your friend. Looking forward to many more episodes of Casting Views. Cheers, Kay and Jay. So firstly, thank you so much to the both of you. Really nice words, really lovely words. I'm glad I can help the chores become a bit more bearable. Maybe that's a niche I should be aiming for when I'm advertising the pod. But honestly, thank you very much. And yeah, I'll come on to it later. Honestly, your friendship has meant so much to me too. As Kay mentioned in their 100th episode, and obviously this is a celebration of that, I was thinking recently about 100 and it's how it's celebrated so much. And the irony was it came while I was recently visited my wife's aunt, who is 99 and is due to turn 100 years old later this year, actually, a couple of weeks after this episode airs. You know, I was thinking, absolutely, when we look at people and we see them turn 100, it's just an amazing thing, isn't it? And yeah, I guess 100 is synonymous with longevity and ongoing commitment, I guess. And yeah, 100 episodes, as fun as podcasting is, and there is a lot of hard work, and every indie podcaster will tell you that. But it's just been amazing. I look back and still now I'm amazed at the fact that there's 100 episodes of Casting Views out there and many more to come. What else did I find out about the number 100? I dug up a few other facts. So, well, look, it wouldn't be Casting Views without some random or digressional, if that's even a word, facts or stats. So the United States Senate has 100 senators. There are 100 yards in an American football field. The sum of the first 9 prime numbers is 100. The sum of the first 10 odd numbers equals 100. There are 100 letter tiles in a Scrabble game. If you had $100 billion, you could spend $3 million a day, every day for the next 100 years. There are 100 sweat glands in 1 square inch of skin, and a Google is number 1, followed by 100 zeros. So there you go. Yeah, so, you know, Casting Views, the episodes, why do I pick the episodes I pick? I guess I try to focus on a variety of topics. You know, I try to pick things different each week. Sometimes there might be a common theme. I try to have a bit of variety and also pick topics that are either gonna be fun to listen to or informative. And I don't mean informative in you're going to learn loads of things from them, although if there is something that you pick up from an episode, even better. But yeah, I try to think, right, what kind of episode do I want to listen to? And what kind of subject would I have with friends? And that's the sort of thing I'm looking at. It's got to have an interest to me. And I think it's got to have an interest, obviously, to you listening there at home. And when I talk about variety, I mean, the last year alone, there's been so many different jumps. So there's been McDonald's from around the world, which had Antonio from the Cult Worthy on. Game shows and gambling, films and shows based on video games, unusual jobs that had Fuck My Work Life, banned advertising with Chat Tsunami. So there, in just 5 different episodes, you can see the fact that I'm trying to always look at a different aspect of the world or entertainment or life. And the last episode, kind of, I was going to mention in terms of fun subjects was, and at the moment, I've changed host again, platform host recently. So my numbers are all my numbers have reset. But this one at the time was definitely far and away my highest listened to episode, and it was Unusual Sports and Competitions. And that featured Justin Henson from the Movie Wire, who has also sent me a message. So let's hear from him now.
Dan from Casting Views, Justin Henson from the Movie Wire. Now, I promise that I will keep this message PG and suitable for all audiences, just for your big accomplishment of not only your 2-year anniversary, but a huge milestone of a whopping 100 interesting, entertaining, and oh so many fun-filled episodes. It has not only been a pleasure to take part in some fun and entertaining conversations on your show, but it has also been an honor to have you as a friend and a true, genuine cheerleader for my show. You and your show are truly something special and extraordinary. I cannot wait for future collaborations and to see what you bring to the table next. I'm holding a drink in your honor tonight, toasting many, many, many more years, another fantastic season, and 100,000 more episodes of Casting Views. And Dan, I will see you shortly in this upcoming season.
Thank you very much. Sorry, I'm chuckling because Justin is just brilliant. He's been on the show a number of times now, and whenever he does, I think it's great because it's a chance for him to kind of get out of his normal zone in movies and just talk about something really random. And yeah, if you haven't, check out the Unusual Sports Part 2 because it's just hilarious. Absolutely helped by the fact that he and I just had just a blast recording that episode. So come on to the section now where I want to thank people. And like I said, I probably should have done this a bit more in some episodes. So I want to take the opportunity now. And first set of podcasts I want to shout out. We're all in a group. It started out on Twitter or X now, but it subsequently moved over into WhatsApp, and we're affectionately called the Brain Trust. Now, you probably heard it mentioned on a couple of these people's podcasts. And I fell into it about 18 months ago, I think. It's definitely been one of the best things that's happened since I started the pod journey, both personally and for podcasting reasons. And the reason I say that is for on the podcast side, these people are just some of the most supportive people, always willing to give advice. They've suggested episodes for me, and I'll come on to some of them have actually provided media for me. But each and every one of them is just such a, like I said, honestly, I can't say enough about them, how good they are. Supportive friendship, feeling down, there's a word of support and advice that comes in. So firstly, all of you, thank you very much. And if you're not following these people, check them out and make sure you do, because they're, as well as being jolly nice people, they're actually, all their podcasts are actually great listens. So first person is Antonio from The Cult Worthy and MILF and Me. Other than everything I've said earlier, I want to shout him out for, he's the person who's created my pod logo. So the artwork of me sitting at that desk, that was created by him. He's also in the past has done a couple of episode covers. But I also want to say that earlier this year, and I did mention it on the episode where he featured back in March, but I got married in Vegas earlier this year, and Antonio didn't know that that's why I was there. But when he heard I was popping over there, him being a state away, flew over for a day. So spent the day with Antonio. So he showed me some of his favourite places to go over there. So we went to really great restaurant. In the evening, managed to get tickets to a comedy club. So we went there, had a few drinks. And yeah, I just thought, what a nice guy for doing that. And probably person I've connected to who lives the furthest away from me, and he's one I've been able to meet. So Antonio, thank you so much for doing that. I just remember at the time thinking, just what a class act. The next pod and people I want to shout out is Josh Wilson and Josh and Amanda, ultimately from Super Familiar with the Wilsons, Unscrew It Up, and Hey Try This. Now, when you listen to my pod, the intro music and the outro music were provided by Josh, and I love both tunes, but especially the outro, Sporks Ahead. Josh and Amanda have been on the podcast, and yeah, I'm looking to get them on again. Check out all his podcasts. Oh, and yeah, of course, Josh has also done a few episode covers, so thank you very much for that. Justin Henson, you heard him earlier, the movie Wire. He has created a large majority of my recent episode covers. So if you're looking at some of them, like the recent ones that come to mind, the video game logic, hauntings, and the one where he's been on the unusual sports, all done by him. So thank you. Next people are Jay and Kay from Fuck My Work Life. As I said, great people, been on the show a couple of times. Also, when I was setting up the merch shop at the start of the pod, Kay provided me some artwork to help get some images on there. So you'll see a theme now. Artwork for podcasting is my weakness. So all the above have helped out massively with all that. Next pod is Josh from Talking Smack. So again, Josh has been on the pods and I've been on Talking Smack. Again, just such a great guy, funny guy, always coming up in the chat with something funny, and one of the first people to tweet and retweet my episodes when they come out. So thank you, Josh. Karen and Anne from Sugar Coated Murder. I mean, these two sisters just, yeah, you've got to listen to them to believe them. Had them on the show and it was hilarious. I don't want to say more than that. You have to go listen back to it. Again, Karen and Anne, just brilliant people. And I mentioned the wedding earlier. Recently received 2 gifts sent from them from over in the States. And yeah, when I got those, it just made my week, my months, my year. Yeah, that was just a really nice thing. And yeah, me and my wife were just chuffed to bits when we received those. So thank you very much to you two. And Matt from Decaying with the Boys. Matt has just got the most infectious laugh, just looks like the cuddliest person. He's been on the show and he's actually going to be on next week's show. I'm just trying to work it out when I'm recording this. But yeah, he's going to be on next week's show. So yeah, check out Matt from Decaying with the Boys. Again, super supportive and just a really all-round good person. So outside of those, there were 2 other members of the group who their podcasts are on hiatus, but I need to absolutely shout them out. So the first is Brendan from Unchefed. And I believe it was him that got me into the group. So I started listening to Unchefed, really liked it. And what I try to do is, especially when I find a new podcast that I like, I try to send a message, just say, look, I'm listening to your podcast, really good. Just wanted to say that. And shortly after, I think I got an invite into the Brain Trust group. So, without him and my connecting with him, all the above people, I would never have got the opportunity to meet. So thank you, Brendan. And the last one is Leo Allen from Voluntary Input. Now, again, his podcast is on a break at the moment, but you'll have heard him on a couple of episodes of mine. So we did hot takes and we did advances in the medical world. So, and I've got him coming up in a couple of weeks. I've got another episode planned to record with him, which I'm not going to tell you, but again, it's one he wanted to talk about. And yeah, really looking forward to that. So keep an ear out and an eye out for that. All of the above, I've either been on their show or they've been on my show a number of times. So I'm not going to mention them in this next batch, but I also want to thank the following podcasts for all their interactions with me on social media and also for appearing on the show in the last 12 months. So first ones I want to talk about are Dan and Dave from Just Football. So 3 of us all co-host the Just Football podcast. Well, Dan and Dave have been on mine representing Just Football on a crossover episode. And Dan has also been on my show to do a couple of episodes. We've done catfishing, and he's also my co-host for the bonus series of Black Mirror reviews. So Dan, I just want to say while I'm here, thank you for agreeing to be the co-host for all those upcoming episodes. And Dave, actually, there was another podcast that I won't go into here, but that we were part of, or he set up, and he showed me the ropes on how to put together an episode, how to record, how to edit, and how to schedule the episodes. So I owe this journey kind of to him for helping me get on this road. Next one is another friend of mine, Pete, also known as Peated Pete on social media, on Twitter, also known as Whiskey Boy, which he doesn't want to stick, but help me make that stick. So Pete, thank you very much for giving me a couple of ideas and also coming on to my show. Luke from Nerdstalgic Podcast, this guy just super supportive. If you hear his podcast that comes through, if you talk to him, he is just, again, I've said it before others, but just one of the nicest people. And had him on the show a little while ago to discuss nerddom and all things nerdy. So, thank you, Luke. The next person is Satsu from Chat Tsunami. I think my first guest back in the first year, but I've had him back a couple of times recently this year. We did band advertising and shows that Jump the Shark. Again, really supportive guy, talk a lot outside of mainline Twitter and podcast world. And I'm always messaging him, have you played this game? Have you played that game? And I think I've made him probably spend a fortune on the Steam sales. So if I have, apologies, Satsu. But stay tuned for my next set of recommendations or requests for games to play. The Bigger Movie Pod, I've been on their show a couple of times. They've been on mine. I managed to get to return the favour this year. Just, I want to say chaotic, but that sounds negative, but just a group of people where the conversation goes anywhere and everywhere. Had so much fun recording with them, and getting them onto the show was even a bigger blast for me to have them come on and talk or let me put them through the paces with a film of my choosing. So check out the Bigger Movie Pod. And the last group I want to say hi to and say thank you to is the Game Club Pod and also the two blokes from Blighty. So it's Slade, Joey and Tim from those pods. Again, really great bunch of people. Started talking to them via Twitter, joined their Discord channel, which is just a load of fun. Joey has been on Just Football. I've recently had Slade and Joey on What If Video Game Logic Applied to Real Life, which was just a great episode. And we had to change the subject last minute. And when I say last minute, it was the night before for various reasons. And I think it may have been Slade who kind of suggested, well, what about Video Game Logic? I went away, thought about it, and we produced an episode which I think is extremely enjoyable and hilarious at the same time. And as I said, just all of them really, really friendly, really nice. Talk to Joey a lot. Make sure you check out both the Game Club Pod and Two Blokes from Blighty. Now, having heard all that, you're going to hear some messages now that some of them have sent in. So you're going to hear a message from Game Club Pod, Chat Tsunami, and Luke from Nerdstalgic.
Hi Dan, this is Joe from Game Club Pod. I'm joined with a few of my friends here just to wish you a happy anniversary on Casting Views. Got anything you want to say to Dan, guys?
Hi, Dan.
Hey,
it's
Dan.
Been like
happy 2 years. Good job, Dan. We're really proud of you, Dan.
How many days
Dan,
is that?
So proud of you, Dan.
At least 10.
So proud.
That's pretty good.
You've casted so many views in 2 years. We really appreciate everything that you do. You're one of the nicest people in podcasting.
Pretty impressive, but
and we really like your show. It's our favorite Sunday show. Thank you so much, Dan, for everything that you do. Thanks.
Well, that just was not in the spirit of what we wanted to do. I hope you guys are proud.
I'm so proud.
Yeah, very proud.
There's a point where Tim said bon appetit.
We're as proud of that as we are of you, Dan. Good job. 2 years of casting views.
In all seriousness, congratulations. Good. That's a massive milestone, and it's well earned.
Yeah, Dan, we love your show. Can't wait to have you back on Between Two Pods at some point. Thank you for 2 years of you being wonderful, and we can't wait to hear the next 2 years. Thanks, Dan.
Me.
Hey Dan, it's Satsunami from the Chatsunami podcast. Just want to give you a huge congratulations from the Chatsunami team on your 2-year Podiversary. Here's to many more.
Hello Dan, it's me, Luke from the Nerdstalgia podcast, you know, that ginger bean. Hope you're doing well, hope you're all good, as per usual. First of all, I just want to say congratulations on 100 episodes. That is a milestone in its own, as well as doing this for 2 years, for your 2-year anniversary. Congratulations, I'm incredibly proud of you, buddy. I knew you could do it. And you're now doing it on your own. You're doing a lot of incredible interviews. I can't wait to see what comes next in another 100 episodes or in another year. So I'm incredibly proud of you, buddy. Also, I do have a question for you. This is the question that I not just asked myself, but I ask other podcasters as well. My question is there any topic or subject that you would love to look at and you know that you'd thoroughly enjoy, but you don't think anybody would probably listen to? For me, it would be sitting down and looking into and reviewing every single Scooby-Doo movie, from the first ever animated Scooby-Doo film all the way to the last live-action movie. That would be a topic I'd like to look into. I don't think anybody would listen, but I'd have a well of time for doing it. So my question is, what topic or subject would you like to look into that you would have a wonderful time with, but you don't think anybody would tune in to listen to? FYI, I would probably listen, so at least you have one. But that is it. That's my question. Once again, congratulations. I'm so proud of you, buddy. And here's to another 100 episodes and another 2 years, maybe 10 years, 100 years. Who knows? I'm so proud of you. So proud.
So thank you all. And again, I was chuckling there because Game Club Pod, so peek behind the curtains. So they sent me a message and it was brilliant. And it was very similar to that. But then when I listened to it, I heard them celebrating 3-year anniversary. So I messaged Joey back and I said, look, love your message. Thank you very much for it. One thing, you all say happy 3-year anniversary. Just say it's my 2-year anniversary, but that makes it even more enjoyable. So don't worry. I'll get a response saying, I only went on what you said to me. And I looked further up in our chat and I was saying that I was celebrating 3-year anniversary. It's obviously a typo. And I just felt so embarrassed. I just felt terrible. And then about half hour later, a new message pops up on Discord. They re-recorded it. So another class act there. So thank you very much. Thank you very much, you lot. Satsu, thank you for your message. And Luke, thank you. There was a question at the end of that, wasn't there? So what I would like to say is the one topic I would probably want to do, I'm safe to say that nobody would want to hear, is a review of my vinyl collection. Now, I've said a number of times, I have a real passion for music, especially on vinyl. I just love the medium of vinyl. It means I listen to full albums, also get to see the artwork because, the albums come on these 12-inch format. Big covers, big artwork, liner notes, etc. And initially, when I first thought about putting an episode together, I thought I'd do a review podcast. So review games, review books, review music that I liked. And part of it would be, maybe review albums. Obviously, chose not to do that and go for a general topic podcast. But it's always been in the back of my mind. I mean, I've got a humble collection. It's not a massive collection of albums. It's not the most collectible, but I really like it. I've got a number of funky limited edition records. And yeah, I've often thought about, doing a series that I'd each week I'd pick a random record off the shelf and review it. One, the album itself, but also why I've got it, what it means to me, my favorite tracks, etc. So I think I've saved you all from listening to those. Just to answer the question again, if there was one subject I would pick that I'd really want to do, but I haven't because I don't think anyone would do it, would be Dan reviews his vinyl. There you go. And talking of questions, I've got one more message from somebody I've mentioned earlier who I believe also had a question for me. So let's hear from Matt from Decaying with the Boys.
Hey Dan, it's Matt from Decaying with the Boys, and I'm here to wish you a very happy 100th episode and congratulations on your second Podiversary. I'm a huge fan of your show and of you, of course, so it's so incredible to see you reach this milestone. And I will raise my glass and cheers you to another 100 episodes and many more years of podcasting to come. But of course, I would not walk away from this congratulatory message without challenging you to a question. So, Dan, what was your favorite topic over these 100 episodes that you ripped apart, analyzed, pieced back together, and fed us to make us smarter by the end of the episode than we were when we began listening at the click of the play button? Again, cheers to you, sir. Congratulations.
Thank you, Matt, for that lovely message. And also the cruelest question, I think. I can't choose one subject. So yeah, I'm going to cop out and say I can't choose one particular episode that I really like the most. As I said earlier, every episode I choose because it either has a resonance with me or I'm really interested in it. What I would say is that I'm looking to maybe in the new season go down a road of couple of or a couple of types of topics. So recently I've done there's a couple of episodes where they've not been serious, like super serious, but had more of a conversational edge, and that was the reincarnation episode with J&K and the hauntings episode with Antonio. Then obviously on the other side you've got the funny episodes like Unusual Jobs, again with J&K. There was the video game logic, which had with the Game Club Pod, and also Bizarre Lawsuits, which was my season opener last week with Justin. So, I mean, in a cheap way, take those as some favourite episodes. But yeah, I think it'd be too hard for me to narrow it down. I've picked those. Apologies, I broke your rules. But yeah, that's my answer. And yeah, as I said, I'm going to look maybe to kind of mix up the subjects. So before I talk about also season 4 and kind of some upcoming things, I also want to thank anyone who has interacted with me on Twitter and social media. If I haven't mentioned you, apologies. There are loads, but just trust me. If you talk to me on Twitter or Instagram, etc., you're always making me smile, and it's always a wonderful thing to see. Thank you also to anyone who's run a trailer for me and anyone who has supplied their trailer. There is a special mention I want to do, and that is to Dennis Mallon. So Dennis was an actor, appeared on 2 episodes of mine, actually within the last year. So it was season 2, episode 14 and season 3, episode 21. Shortly after the airing of that second episode, I was informed that Dennis had passed away. I think it was the morning after the episode aired. And that hit me with such a shock that I still find it, can't explain in words, sort of the feeling that left me with, because it was literally the email had come in overnight. And when I woke up, it was one of the first things I'd seen. I only got to speak to him twice, but he was just such an extremely warm, friendly, enthusiastic person. He was so easy to talk to. Each show, there was so much conversation before and after the record button was pressed. And yeah, he just had a way of making you feel at ease when you were talking to him. So, I truly appreciate having had the opportunity to speak to him. And I really do wish his family well. So yeah, I just wanted to say that. Thank you very much to Dennis Mallon for having come on to Casting Views. So season 4. So season 4 is technically started. It opened up last week with Justin on the Bizarre Lawsuits. So I'm not going to give too many spoilers away, but next week, Matt's going to be on from Decaying with the Boys. Now, I'm going to mention that episode because this is going to be a regular topic I want to do, and I'm after your help because I want people to come on and be part of it. So back in March, when I needed short notice episode to do, Antonio said he'd help me, he'd come on, and I came up with what's a quick fire episode we could do. And it was it was a classic, which 3 celebrities would you invite over if you were having a dinner party? Antonio came on and had great fun with that. And it was an attempt to almost get to know the person a bit more. Now, I know there are a couple of podcasts out there that do that, and Game Club Pod does that. I was on Between Two Pods, hosted by Slade, where you get to ask me questions. I've recently had a chance, I don't think it's aired yet, but I've recently had a chance to go on Satsunami and be questioned by him. And I thought, well, obviously these pods are doing it and doing it really well. So I thought I'd do a spin on it. And what I want to do is, if it's every 4 weeks, maybe every 6 weeks, but I'd love to get a podcaster on, sit them down and do that. So say, right, we're having a dinner party. I want you to invite 3 celebrities. But what I'm now doing is there's going to be a slight twist to it, and I'm tailoring it to the person. So I won't say more than that. You'll hear the episode next week. But what I would like to say is, yeah, if I've spoken to you, if you've been on the show before, if you've never been on the show before and you fancy coming on, I think that's going to be a great episode to come on to do. And of course, you're always open to come on for a general episode. But yeah, let me know if that's something you're interested in doing. There's also a few episodes would have already aired by now, but there's a bonus series that I'm hosting with my friend Dan Strange, Dan S. So that is called Casting Reflections on Black Mirror. And that is, as it says, it's a review of Black Mirror, but it's more than that. It's not just a review of the show. What we then do is we try to look at the tech and the moral or themes presented in the episode and discuss those and see how they relate to modern life. Try, or if it's nowhere near anything that we have now, try to apply it and say, right, how would we feel? So it's a great little series, having so much fun doing that, and so much so that I've already thinking when that finishes, is there another similar anthology series that we could have a look at? So again, if you like that or you're listening to this, let me know if there's a suitable series we could do when that one ends. And there's also a couple of other little sub-series I'm looking at creating, but I don't want to say anything more about those now. We'll see how the thought process comes out for that. So yeah, that's just a little teaser for a couple of the things coming up in season 4. I think all that's left for me to say is thank you. Like I said, it's 100 episodes, 2 years. Honestly, I know people say it all the time. When I first started on this podcast journey, I didn't think I'd get to 10 episodes, let alone 100. So yeah, just been so much fun all along the way. Everyone who I've mentioned, thank you again. Just a reminder, check out the people I've mentioned. And yeah, I'll see you next week for a regular episode, and finish with a slogan. Now, I said for quite a number of episodes, and I've stopped saying it recently, but I think it really applies now. So I know there's a lot of podcasts from which you can choose, and I really do thank you for listening to Casting Views.
2, 3, 4. If I want your opinion, I will give it to you. Come on, check what we've got, 'cause you need it. Don't make us get a sports and force feed.